Well, it's been almost a month since the president's speech unveiling his energy plan, a plan with no apparent success in either the market or at the pump. Joining me now, Congressman Thaddeus McCotter, Republican of Michigan, author of the new book, Seize Freedom, joining us live from Detroit. Thanks for being with us, Congressman. Good to see you.
Thank you,
Lou. Speaker Boehner talking about rolling back subsidies for big oil. That was quite a departure from what we've heard Republican leadership say in Congress for some number of months.
Well, as Ronald Reagan taught us, Lou, corporations are not taxpayers. They're really tax collectors because all their revenue comes from the consumers who buy their products. When you start to tax something, you make it more scarce. What will happen then is the companies will pass on the cost to you at the pump. You'll pay more in gas prices at the pump. The government will then collect that revenue and they'll spend it on attempt to get us off of fossil fuels cold turkey, which will drive up core inflation, hurt the average American person, reduce productivity. And what you'll find out is we'll be in a spiraling situation where gas prices will remain high. The president will continue to push his ideological agenda of having a lethargy policy in this country, and the middle class will continue to get squeezed. So I think it would be a tragic mistake to forget that the cost of gas is going to go up if you make gas more scarce and put taxes on it.
I suppose that I would agree with you outright if it were not for the fact that we haven't seen demand rise and production by OPEC at least has only been cut in the past month. And of course, as this president has ballyhooed and accurately, domestic production is actually higher right now. So what is at work in your judgment, Congressman, to drive these prices higher?
Well, two things. The futures market looks at the potential recovery of the United States economy, and they see the energy needs rising rapidly. And so what they're doing is they're, to use a word, they're betting on the markets that the cost of gas is going to go up as the demand for it increases, pending a recovery. That's the bad news, is because that leads to the price of oil and gas going up and actually makes it harder for the economy to rebound. But what I'd like to point out is we hear much talk about speculation. The real speculators in this country are the president and the radical Democrats that have continuing for decades opposed extracting more American domestic energy as we responsibly try to transition to green energy.
Well, there's no question that a transition to green energy would be responsible if it were in fact a replacement rather than a marginal supplement to fossil fuel at this time. I don't think anybody can argue that. Perhaps the ideological orthodoxy, there is one that would support that, but leaving them aside for the moment, I don't think anyone else would. Speaking of speculation, I'm going to be talking here tonight about the Commodity Futures Trading. Commissioner Bart Chilton will be joining us, and the role of the CFTC in setting margin requirements and doing what it can to dampen speculation at the Mercantile Exchange, the New York Mercantile Exchange. Speculation either at the margin or substantively having an influence in these markets. Which do you think it is?
My concern, Lou, is that when government policies don't work and the markets react to them in a way that the government doesn't like, is they'll use their powers to try to intervene. And that's what we're seeing. Again, much of the problem that we're having comes from decades of opposition from the ideological left, the radical environmentalists, from America producing its own energy, much as other countries do, much as we continue to need to do to reduce our dependence, and again, foster a responsible free market transition to green energy. So I would be very chary about what the government does to mask the problems that the government has caused in the market. And I would also point out that one of the things that we have to remember about the anti-drilling stance, to be fair, is that President Obama and the Democrats do support drilling, but it's into your wallet for more money.
Okay. Congressman McCotter, always good to talk with you. Thanks for being here.